Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 10, Episode 31, overall 526 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969, and yours truly has been a customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership since 2000, so 25 years in counting. I hope everybody had a happy Easter weekend, happy Passover for my Jewish friends and followers, and I hope everyone's doing well on this Monday, April 21st, 2025, and I'm excited about my guest tonight. This is her first appearance on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. I met her through Instagram, and I really think she'll make a great guest tonight. Her name is Goldie, Gotusspeakintongues. Got to ask her about her stage name. She is a stand-up comedian out of New York City. I believe the Bronx. So we're going to talk to Goldie about her comedy career and some of her upcoming live comedy shows and how she started out in the industry as well. So we're going to bring on Goldie, Gotusspeakintongues. Good evening. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing well. How was your Easter weekend or Passover weekend?
Easter was good. I hosted a Easter egg hunt in my community for some local kids. So I got to see kids do like a little egg hunt and a little relay race for some prizes. So that was cool.
One of the things I remember about Easter as a kid was getting chocolates, either milk chocolates or white chocolates. Oh, I know it was known for getting candy.
I know. I love the chocolate bunnies.
Absolutely. How's the weather in New York City right now?
Right now, today, it's a little not springy. So kind of winterish. Maybe that's just like the spring weather here nowadays. 2 days ago, it was like 80. It was beautiful. And then we get punished for about 2 days. So it's been a little cloudy, cold. Almost feel like a winter coat, but you don't want to do it because it's almost May.
I think your weather is similar to ours here in the Toronto area. I know in March and April we still get winter here, but we also get days where it's like 70 or 80 degrees. So, but I think the worst of it's over now, and I think we're going to start getting some summer temperatures coming up soon.
That would be nice. I hate this. I hate the snow. I hate the cold. So.
You're not a fan of winter. I love it. I actually love the four seasons.
You know, it's pretty when the leaves change from like summer to fall, like the color of the foliage. But I don't like the snow. It's too cold. It gets icy. It gets dirty. It's slippery. I'd rather not really the beach, but beach-like weather.
I did more shoveling this year than I have in the last 5 years. We actually at one point here had about 3.5, 4 feet of snow on my front yard.
That's a lot. You see, like, how do you get out?
We got out, but then we've had winters where we didn't have much snow. So this year was kind of our traditional winter, but I don't mind shoveling. It's good exercise and that for the heart, for the cardio. Don't have to go to a gym when you shovel snow.
Very true. Get away with eating all those hot cocos afterwards.
And I have a viewer on. He is from Buffalo, New York. He's about, 8-9 hours from New York City. His name is Robbie Schneider, and he has his own podcast show called the 716 Sports Blizzard in Buffalo, New York. So,
hey,
Yeah, thanks, Robbie, for watching. Have you ever been to Buffalo, New York?
No,
No?
kind of cold.
Have you been to Canada yet? Have you been to
No,
Canada?
not yet, but I do want to come.
Okay, let me know when you do come. And we have a lot of great comedians here and a lot of great comedy clubs as well,
Cool. That'd be fun.
especially Toronto. Especially Toronto. That's one of the places you need to go for comedy.
Nice. Thanks for listening.
Definitely.
See you soon.
Definitely. Dale. Hey, Scotty, you're from New York City. What
Yes.
makes New York City such a great place to live and work and do comedy in? I've been to New York twice and I kind of miss it and I hope to get back there at some point in the future.
New York is very fast paced and it has a lot of people. So basically, you will always find an open comedy club and you'll always find a different audience. So I think it kind of gives you a broad eye view of what the world could look like in a big city.
The last time I was in New York was 2019 and I did get to go to a comedy club there in Manhattan called Yuck Yucks.
Okay, I don't think I've ever heard of that. But I'll look at it.
Yuck Yucks.
Nice. How was it?
It was good. It was good. I had a good time. It was a couple hours for a few bucks, and it was nice. I had a nice cold drink and was able to watch some comedians and stuff like that as well. And I know every place you go, everybody's different for comedians. Like it depends on the city and the location and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's really fun to be able to do comedy here in New York City just because you do have so many different types of clubs and different types of environments that you are allowed to kind of like practice your craft or hone in your craft, so to speak. So you kind of get a feel for what you like, what they don't like, but then also just who you are as a comic.
Gotta ask you this. I'm curious. I know what your real name is, but how did you come about Goldie Gotta Speaking in
Well,
Tongues?
like a few years back, maybe like probably 10 or 15 years back, like back when everyone was changing their Facebook names to like something catchy or catchphrasy. I don't know why I thought Got You Speaking in Tongues would be a good one. I was kind of young. However, I thought it could be open ended as well at the time. So if you went one way, that's where your mind goes. And if you went the other way, then maybe it could be biblical too. You never know if I'm religious. I do believe in God, so depending on the day. But at the end of the day, I mean, I always believe in God every day. But the name can go kind of every which way you would want it to go. So I kind of leave it open to interpretation to the people. So most people always go like, "Hey, what does that mean?" I'm like, "Hey, what do you think it means?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what were you thinking when you read it? But I mean, I talk a lot too, so I thought it kind of meant that sometimes like you can say things that can kind of get people caught up in their words. So it could kind of sound like maybe they're speaking in tongues. So something to that effect.
I was going to ask you this question later in our show, but I'm going to do it now. How would you describe yourself as a comedian?
Wow. New and fresh and learning, um, practicing, just having fun. So I guess carefree for now. I mean, forever, maybe. That's just like my personality. So probably just carefree, just having fun with it and taking it day by day, just seeing where it takes me.
Have you always been outgoing?
Yes.
Here's a fun fact about me. When I was in elementary school, high school, college, even when I got out of college, I would avoid public speaking like the plague. I hated it. I would shrink in the spotlight. And now that I'm 52, I'm very comfortable being in front of a camera and in front of people. And I reinvented myself.
I like that. That's true though, because when I was in college as well, that public speaking class or just having to do a presentation in front of the whole class, everyone's staring at you, does make you a little nervous. Like I've seen adults cry. Like I wouldn't cry, but I speak really fast. I guess when I get a little nervous, so you might not be able to follow me. But to me, I guess that's kind of your nerves, and you kind of get past it. And I won't reveal my age, but we're not that far apart because lady never tells.
You're only 27. You're only 27.
Right. That's right. So um, that's the most important thing. Just kind of like really being comfortable in your own skin, and it takes some time to get there. I would hope that in this generation they kind of get it a little faster than we did because you need it. But be comfortable with who you are because it's your life and it's your world, and people are gonna judge you anyway, right? So why really care so much what they think? Because they can't change it, and you can't change them. So even if you're the best person in the world, people can think the worst of you. You can try to every day of your life to change that perception, and it will never work. So then you wasted all that time trying to make someone like you who was never gonna like you anyway. Why go through all that? If you don't like me, that's your problem. I like me, and I'm amazing. You know what I'm saying? So be comfortable with who you are and live your life to the fullest because we just never know when the aliens are gonna come.
Absolutely agree with you, Goldie. And I have another comedian that's watching our show on Instagram. Her name is Saskia B. She's a comedian out of Phoenix, Arizona. So I want to give her a shout out. And I've been very lucky on this show. It's a sports show, but I've also made it a full talk show. So it's really diverse with guests and topics. And I've had comedians on from the UK, the United States, obviously, and Canada as well. And
Nice.
everybody does the comedy stuff because they have a passion for it, and it's kind of a form of therapy for most of them too.
Hello, free therapy, or just freedom of speech, so to speak. So some of our laws that have changed are kind of okay. But yes, I do think that it is therapeutic. I think you if you're comfortable, but you can get comfortable. Like, what does two cocktails do? Kind of lets you dial it back. I haven't had any cocktails because this is just normal to me. But if you need that to get a little stroke of courage, why not just try it? It's fun. It's almost like doing karaoke. You just never know how much court you can hold. You don't know how entertaining you could be. You don't know what people think about the things that you're saying. You don't know if something that you've experienced and how you maybe utilize it or got over it could help someone else do the same thing. So, and then also make fun of yourself because life is, excuse my French, but effed up. And so, you want to cry or you want to laugh? Either way, it's gonna hurt. So I'd rather laugh through the pain than cry and still be hurting. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes when you laugh through it, it doesn't make it seem as bad as it is at the time.
Comedy is a form of comedy can help your mental health, and it's also a lot cheaper than seeing a shrink.
Very true. And you don't give yourself medication unless you want to. No, but a lot of times seeing a shrink doesn't necessarily fix you, only because if the person has not really experienced what you have in life, how could they really guide you? Like you can give me a couple of good practices and principles to kind of like get you over the hump. But when it really comes to being able to relate to something that you've experienced or something that you're currently going through, it's better like with hands-on experience. So like a person who can come on stage and talk about their life and talk about like funny stuff that's happened or just their experiences with dating and men and kids and work or the train or the bus or driving, getting gas, anything, like the encounter with the raccoon on the road, anything that happens, like people who have that kind of text to self or kind of like reality to self, like, oh my God, I've been through that. Oh my God, I would be her friend. It's kind of one of those. So you come on stage, where I know I do. I come kind of talking to the audience like they're my friends. If they're not, that's their problem. But because I'm like really the life of the party. But hey, you don't want to get in the VIP, don't come with me.
How much did the pandemic change the industry? Because I know when I started this podcast talk show during the pandemic, a lot of comedy clubs were closed because of the pandemic, and they had to do it live stream. When you started 3 years ago, did you ever do any live stream performances, or has it all been stand up so
um,
far?
Kind of, sort of, but not necessarily. Like, so I would say my first time doing comedy was at an actual comedy club, Coach Stand in New York, here in the city. I'm not quite sure exactly which location because there's more than one, but I think it was around like 70th and Broadway. And that was just, I had talked about it one time with a coworker, just like randomly. We should just try to like do some fun stuff, dance class, or let's do a comedy club or just whatever. Because, we both think we're funny. So I was like, why not try it? But it had never come to pass. And then going through this life experiences and like, almost getting angry at your family, like, you know what? I'm going to go on stage and talk about you guys. So I just looked up one just to see if I could actually do it. Like you just don't know what you can do. So I went alone and I didn't do so bad. So after that, you kind of get bit by the bug because they didn't boo me off. And then it was like people didn't talk to me after the show, so I kind of thought maybe I did. Because these are people that come, I guess, to that location more frequently than I did. So it would have been nice for someone like, hey, that was good for your first time, but they just like stood together in the corner like, who is she? It's like, wait a minute. So then after that, I kind of like more things were happening in life. And so it kind of became like a distraction, honestly. Like if you have really crazy stuff going on that can make you really crazy, just generally, because you know people handle things differently, or sometimes life is crazy. If you have an outlet, take advantage of it. Hopefully, it's something that's positive and not harmful. I guess waste not, want not, and what they say, I guess small amounts are best. Don't drink and drive type of thing. But definitely find something that you like to do, something that's fun to you, and do a lot of it. Because for the most part, if you have those few moments in time that you can kind of detach yourself from reality, shit, take me to the multiverse any day. Because right here, I'm like, shit, I gotta pay some bills tomorrow. I gotta deal with this. It's so many like reality checks that you have to deal with every day. Sometimes you just need a little bit of an escape.
Goldie, for those people that are watching this live stream right now or later on audio platforms, and they're looking to get into the comedy industry, what advice would you give to them from your experience so far?
Do it. If you feel you're funny, you have to believe that you're funny before anyone else will believe that you're funny. Because you got to go on stage and be funny. And don't worry about if you're not funny. Everyone's not your cup of tea, right? Because I like coffee. I don't know about you, cream, 2, 3 sugars, maybe some flavor from Dunkin' Donuts. Most importantly, we're all different. So you're not going to walk into every room and please every person. Who cares about them? Not like that. I do care about all of you because you want fans. But you can't let that stop you. Sometimes you can go places and you can be really good. And because you are really good, people can be intimidated. So they won't ever give you the accolades that you deserve. But who has to believe that you should go to the next show? Or who has to believe that you should get on stage tomorrow or the next day or whatever, just because that day people didn't clap or yay or scream? It doesn't always happen that way. Most importantly, I think if you have an idea, if you have a craving, if you have a desire, if you think you got talent, it's only you versus you that determines who you can become. I think. I don't know. I mean, outside of all that other stuff, we're not going to get into that because I hope all those people are so in love with me and don't have any oil or risque deals. I might like it. No, I'm just joking. But you never know. Like, I'm so glad that in my age now, I didn't get got back then. I wanted to be famous as a kid too, but it was like in a different arena. I wanted to be a singer, but that's like come to pass because we all tried cigarettes. And I don't think I could sing that well anyway. Maybe I could hold a note. I sung with girls who could really sing, so I would have been fine being a background dancer if I could have just been on tour. Who cares? As long as I would have been able to be exposed to the environment. So we all love to have a dream of being on TV, but to be a comedian, that's just something that just came about on a whim. Like, you just laugh and joke with your friends all the time, and people are like, oh my God, you're so funny, Chris. You're like, yeah, I'm a comedian. So it was almost like an affirmation. I just kept speaking forever. I just never really thought about it. I love comedy, but I never thought about pursuing it as a career until like maybe the last 3 years where things just started happening. Again, I just did it. Do it. Because if you're good at it, you're like, oh shit, I'm on to something. Because sometimes you just don't know until you know.
You have a passion for it. And I wanted to ask you this too. Have you ever experienced stage fright, or have you seen a comedian where they're funny, but as soon as they get up to the stage, they kind of shrink from the spotlight?
That has happened to me. I've seen it happen to other people. I think, in my opinion, which just sounds so weird to say, because you got in your head and you didn't stick with your heart. Because a lot of times we read the room. And sometimes, depending on who's in the room, can sway the way you think. Um, Everyone has a different method of how they do business, how they operate, how they, I guess, go to the stage. Some people pretty much is like a similar playbook, so to speak, that sometimes maybe can be hit or miss for some people too, depending on just environment, belief in yourself, uh, everybody's different. Like for me, it's happened because I got in my head. Like you talk to somebody before you get on stage, and they say something to you, and it's like what? Like, and so now you're like maybe saying like or going through a situation or a discussion that could throw you off, or if ever you go into a room and you feel intimidated, you're off kilter. I mean, and maybe that's kind of healthy to some degree for some people if that is what motivates you to be your best version of you. But that maybe doesn't work for everybody. So if you feel in any ways intimidated, you already lessen your chances of succeeding. Like almost like when you were in school and you hated math, but only because you didn't understand it. But because you wouldn't know, like, I hate math, you're never going to pass the math test because you're not even allowing your brain to like math. So it's kind of like the same thing. Like if I or anyone, I would think if you walk into a room like, oh shit, all these people here, how am I going to do? I did that to myself actually most recently. I got someone said, hey, try out for this TV show or some type of audition for a show. And I saw some things on the internet, like, little pictures and videos of other girls who were younger than me. So it was kind of like, not that I didn't think I could, because you should see my birthday picture. I was feeling kind of spicy, but I just didn't think it was, not even that I wasn't like for that environment, but I guess I just didn't think it was a fit. Now I'm so mad I didn't fucking go. But hopefully around 2, they'll see me. But even still, it was kind of one of those. Don't second guess yourself. Go. I mean, we do it every day. It's human nature, right? Because that's just kind of what society always kind of tells you. Maybe that you're not good enough, depending on what you're comparing yourself to, or who you're comparing yourself to, whose timeline you're living on, or what you think you should have done or accomplished at whatever age in your life. You know what I'm saying? So I think we put a lot of those barriers in front of ourselves. Don't
Just
do the tree in the road.
just like any career you do, whether it's radio like I'm doing or a comedy like you, mindset is huge, and you also have to have a thick skin and a strong support system. And there's going to be people that really support your work, but then you're going to get your skeptics, your naysayers, or even your haters, or people that want to belittle you too.
And you know what? I say to them, take your own try at it. Like you can't really consume yourself with the thoughts of other people. It may sound harsh, and I'm the most empathetic person. Like people that know me as a person know that I'm like, I'll cry with you, we'll cry over every song, we'll cry over every movie. I'll be there for every event. Like I'm very hands-on when it comes to stuff like that. But in the same sense, I guess for lack of a better term, fuck what people think. Why should you? Like that's your life. Like I think like this, right? Sometimes when you're a caretaker for people at the end of their time, you have to make a lot of decisions that like it's almost like a you and God and the person, but the person can't really communicate. So you're kind of like working on their behalf, and so you got to make decisions for someone's life. And so like being placed in that position, you wonder like if you're doing everything right. And so it's kind of like the same thing in your life when you're at the end of your road, however it ends, and when you have those silent moments when it's just you and God or you and whoever you talk to, when you're scared of shit, or if you're feeling comfortable, however it makes you feel at that moment, what thoughts do you want to have in your head? I always think like this, like since I've been through so many experiences, like what thoughts do you want to have? Do you want to live in regrets, or do you want to live in awe of yourself? Because you can tell people, but what if you can't talk no more? And what if you can't write no more? So then no one's going to be able to hear your stories at that time, or you're not going to be able to tell them. So in the same sense, what do you revel in? Do you want to be stuck in your silence, living in regret for the moments that you have left, or do you want to just be able to go into those wonderful dreams of all those experiences that you never knew you were going to have, or opportunities that came upon you that you actually did, and whether they succeeded or failed, you still did it. It's still a story you could tell. You still have fun. You still had an experience. You might meet people. You just never know what can happen as a result of jumping out the window. Don't jump out the window, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and like how some of the songs, it's a song that's like jumping out the window with this, but you got to take faith over fear. You have to believe in yourself more than anyone else will. You can't listen to people no matter what they tell you because they're gonna tell you you're crazy. Because no one, people really think you're crazy when you step outside of your norm or when you do things that they personally don't think that they could ever do. Like, oh my God, how do you do a radio show? How do you talk to these different people? How do you just like ask questions?
Jealousy and envy.
I wouldn't even say even that. I just think it's lack of courage. You don't have
Yeah,
to be jealous or envious. You just don't feel strong enough within your own capabilities to do it. It's not.
yeah,
It's not even jealousy. It's just like shit. How did she do
yeah.
that? I've had friends that I've seen that I went to school with at a time, and throughout my life have gotten on television, have been on TV shows, and let's like take off the glasses because I'm not famous, right? Yet, but so for all intents and purposes, I can't say that the young me, the damn, I wish that was me, was not looking at them like, how did she get that? Or how did he get that? And kind of being a bit judgmental, mostly because, like I said, there were times you want to be a singer, times you want to be a dancer, times you want to do like things of that nature that you may have done at the time and then you stop. And then, or if you had opportunities to pursue certain things and you didn't take advantage of them, the regret or the what if. So at this age, I didn't want to, or even like 3, 4 years ago, it was kind of being angry and then not wanting to be ever stuck with the what if because you just never know when that time is. So do it now. Like, don't wait because people think that they have time. And I know from personal experience of like a loss that you have a conversation with someone like, hey, when are we going to get together? Oh my God, because I haven't seen you in so long. Like, don't worry, we have so much time. 2 days later, they're dead. You're like,
I'm sorry.
no, not for me per se, but I mean, it's happened like that, but not most recently, but just generally. Like,
Yep.
so stuff like that, live in the now. Like, try not to wait too long for the opportunity to be who you want to be or to do the things you want to do or to live the life you want to live as long as it's not hurting anybody and you're like being your best you. If you feel comfortable every day doing what you do, if you get up and it empowers you, if it's like almost
Yep.
like a drug where it's like an addiction,
Yes.
where you look
Yes.
forward to it,
It's like going on here. Yes. There's times where I feel not 100% or I'm tired, but sooner they get on air with my guests, the adrenaline kicks in and it's like, this is why I
it's
love doing it.
exciting.
And by the way, I was in corporate security for 23 and a half years. And at the end, they paid me well, but I wasn't happy. And I decided at the age of 47 to switch careers. And most people thought, oh, you're nuts. You're 47 years old. You're
Living your
self-taught
dream.
and I'm living my dream. I'm self-taught and I've had a lot of successes. I've also had some setbacks, but you know what? Any career you're in, comedy, media, TV, whatever career you're in, you're going to get your successes, but you're also going to get your setbacks. People are going to tell you no, but you don't take no personally or think it's a failure. It's a temporary setback.
It's really like, no, it's more so like not right now, not yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have time. We gotta cook. So it's like you don't want to rush the meat because it could still be raw. It could get you sick, right? So you don't want to rush the process. You don't want to rush. To me, the universe is timing. Timing is everything, and you don't always take advantage or take that into consideration. But certain things happen. You meet people. Like I think that way some now. Like maybe not when I was younger, but now I'm like the universe aligns. And when I had a show not too long ago at a location. So I went to um, a cannabis industry event here in New York City that a friend just said, hey, you should meet me here. I went all the way downtown, which was like not that far from where I am, but let's say I traveled about 45 minutes and I walked like 10 minutes from the train and it was snowing, so it was kind of cold. I was like, I hate this weather, but I went because the friend said, hey, meet me. When I got there, I'm like, hey, girl, where you at? Oh, girl, I'm old and it's snowing. I was like, oh my God, no, you did not make me like leave my warm house, come all the way down here and walk. Come inside, go network. This is perfect for you. It was a little apprehension for me. I am very outgoing, I am very talkative, but I had no idea where it was, what type of event I was at, like people in the room, like kind of like if you do your homework before you go to a job interview, so you kind of at least can have some type of bar conversation. It was none of that. Like you kind of have to read people's faces, like who looks like they'll talk back, like who's going to be friendly today, and so you kind of ask a little bit of questions. Long story short, I went to a second event. because the first event was very informative. It's a booming business here in New York City, and I was like, I didn't know as much about it as I should. Although it's definitely the legalization of cannabis here for all types of purposes. Medicinal is most important, but and recreational is good too because people need to be able to relax.
Yep.
But everyone's opinion on that is their own.
Yep.
But most importantly, just to be able to just experience like a whole different environment of people and just like a whole different, I guess, market of business that I definitely am interested in. And then there are medicinal purposes that are very, very informative. Like when you really hear about what it does for children, people with cancer, people that have seizures, like it's a lot of good stuff that comes out of it that people tend to like lean towards the recreational, habitual side of it. And I mean, of course, anything that you take in excess will become a habit. Food, people, men,
It's like alcohol. Yep.
comedy, video
Yep.
shows. Like
Comedy,
once
social
you
media,
get
social media.
once you do it, you don't want to stop. Once you like they say, I guess the social media gratification, I guess reward of the likes. I don't really look for that, and it's kind of the same in comedy. Like I don't know. I mean, I know that you did really good. Like when you come off stage, but sometimes people could just be being nice. What if we were horrible? No one's gonna really hurt your feelings. I mean, people kind of will. This is New York. But it's not really the Apollo, so thank God the Sandman is not coming out with his little like cane to drag you off stage. But you can get a frozen crowd. But most times people are semi-polite. I mean, it's New York. But if you're not funny, you're not funny. But if you're funny, people will laugh. People will tell you that you did good. So, but I'm modest with that, and I'm humble with that because, like you said, have you ever froze? Have you ever had that moment? So, like, what if you like are on this big, big high, and then for whatever reason, a bad day, bad backstage, bad whatever, or just go on stage and freeze. You just never know. Like sometimes if you get in your head, who knows what happens to the person when they get up there and are not their best. But there have been times when I didn't think I was my best, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do as good as I thought. People are like, oh my God, you were great. And I'm like, really? Like, oh shit. Hey, thank you. Like, I was up there like, shit, girl, you know you could have did better than that. But it depends on also your energy, like how you walk into the room. And you gotta walk in there like a boss. And anyone, man, woman, like you gotta come on your show like a boss. I mean, you are the boss of this. This is your
Yep.
show. But
Yep.
overall, you gotta come on like a force to be reckoned with. Someone that not commands attention, but can control the space that they're in, and also make the other person that you're speaking with feel comfortable enough to answer your questions and to kind of have a flow. And so it's the same with comedy. Like if you go in there thinking one thing, it could be something else. If you go in there with the wrong approach, it could work against you. So everybody's comedy is not everybody's spiel, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see a comic like, oh, I'm gonna go there and try to do that. No, you might not be able to make that one. It doesn't work for everybody. Like Mozart was Mozart because he was Mozart, and Picasso was Picasso because he was Picasso. A lot of people paint, and a lot of people play the piano, but everybody's not Alicia Keys or I don't know. I can't think of a painter at the moment, but because I'm not really into art, but I am a bit. I mean, if you see something nice, it's cute, but I don't know who painted it. I mean, not that I'm not cultured, but that's just not my main interest. But you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yep.
you can't really determine that for anyone. Like I said, because what if you go to one club and not you're hit there because everyone agrees with you? Those are your people. You find your people. Your audience is your people who enjoy you, people who enjoy your perspective, people who enjoy how you attack topics, people who enjoy how carefree you are. I mean, for some, I may be a little too ratchet, but not always, but mostly because I think it's fun. And at my age, why not? I'm a grandma, and I'm a cute grandma. And
You're only 27.
yeah, well, you know what? That was in my past life, no. So, but so at the end of the day, it's more like I'm gonna kind of just be me, and you
Yep.
be you,
Be
and if we find each other at the party and we dance to the same rhythm, then we're gonna have a dirty dance on the dance floor. But if not, then silent party it is, and I'm on one station and you're on the other, and it's okay that we don't dance together because you can't please everybody, and why should you
No.
want to? Why would
You're
you
not
want to?
everybody's. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
I'm fine with it. Like I said, again, I drink coffee. But I mean, I like tea too sometimes, but sometimes.
water.
So it depends on the moment or the mood.
Yeah. Yeah. Goldie, can you just tell my audience a little bit about yourself and who were some of your early comedy influences and mentors when you started up 3 years ago?
Okay, well, I wouldn't say necessarily mentors, but just as a person who's like grown up in an African American household, my first comedians were my grandma and my cousins and my aunties and like the family in-house jokes and your cousins snapping on each other and crying in the corner because your joke wasn't good enough and they didn't laugh at yours, but they was all laughing at what they said about you and kind of having to build up that tough skin. So I think it starts in the home, but not in a bad way because it does build character. And it also teaches you how to be able to fight back and say things quick-wittedly and just be able to come off the cuff with stuff. As far as comedians, we definitely were too young to watch them, but love Richard Pryor. I mean, now I'm not, but when I was a kid and they were like in their prime, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, Sammy Davis Jr. Like, I don't remember too much, but Eddie Murphy and Red and Richard Pryor were like staples. And then, of course, getting older, Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer. I love Monique. I love Lunel. I love Samoa. I love there's a couple of others that I can't think of. Like Sinbad, like Arsenio Hall. Like, there's so many people. All of the Wayans, like in Living Color in New York City, like that was like a major show for us. Martin, of course, who doesn't love Martin and Gina? Pam and Tommy, like the cast, like like so many different people, I guess, throughout my history, taking that chance, just being themselves. I definitely love Richard Pryor because he broke molds. I definitely love Bernie Mac for that too. I love Lunel. I love Williams. I like real people. Not that we're all not real people. She's not real, but isn't she cute? But still, I don't like fake people. I don't want someone you can just dress up and just make them into who you want them to be. I kind of like authenticity, right? And you can kind of feel that and sense that. You can smell it almost like good bread or bad shit, depending on where you go. And I like to kind of read rooms and energy. I'm not always the best at that because you want to be a good person and you want to always see who you are in other people, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of treat everybody the same in the beginning
Yep.
until people kind of reveal who they truly are to you or to other people. Because you don't have to do something to me directly for me to see who you are and realize that you're maybe just like you said, not my cup of tea. And it's nothing personally against you. It's just energy is important. Who you surround yourself around. Some people are energy drainers.
Absolutely.
Some people build your energy
Yep.
up. Like they support you. Like they charge you up. Like you get around some people that just make you feel like, oh my God, I can do everything. Like I love you. And then you get around some people like, shit, I gotta go home and get under my pillow. Why do you even think I can do this? Like where did that come from? When I was just so high energy. And it's like, who was I?
Yep.
And it's not like they don't always mean to be that way. And so then we find ourselves trying to fix that. Don't fix everything. That's why, certain things you just can't do because it wasn't your job to do. And a lot of times I think people in general take on jobs that are not their own. And that consumes too much of your me time. And you love everybody and you want to help everybody. You want to see everybody win. You want to see everybody do their best. But sometimes that's out of self-sacrifice. So then you got to kind of catch yourself before you sacrifice too much of yourself. Or sometimes it's in the midst of realizing, oh, wow, you lost so much. And then it was for someone who wouldn't provide for you or be there for you in the way that you would for them. So, I mean, life experiences are reasons why we get on stage and talk shit about our friends. No, I'm sure. But isn't it so funny though? Like, thank God like, you're not a comedian, but if you were, or if you decide to go that route, you're going to see your friends are going to be calling you or texting you like, hey, don't talk about that time that we were here. You're like, come on, dude. Like, I have a whole life. You were in it. And that's my testimony. Like, if I was an alcoholic going to AA and we got drunk together and you were in my drunk story and I was telling my testimony, why I'm not supposed to mention you? That's an important part of my healing process. Same thing with comedy. Nobody's safe. No, everybody's safe until they're not. Like, but not in a bad way. I mean, I guess I've never really been that bad of a comic, but it's so fun to have that power, like almost kind of like a ventriloquist. Who's going to be the puppet today? I wouldn't really want to hurt anyone's feelings because I wouldn't want anyone to hurt mine. So I would never want to ever say something that could be taken that way. But almost like when you post on the internet, everyone that sees your page, someone, most of them, none of them, could probably think, oh, she's talking about me. I'm not. I thought that, oh, people should see that. Well, I thought this was interesting. And you just reposted. It doesn't necessarily have to be directly pointed at anyone. But like they say, if the shoe fits, wear it. The hat fits, wear it, or not. But, who cares? Have fun.
And when I do this show, I treat my guests like the way I treated customers at my other career. I want people to come on here and feel comfortable, trust me, and build a rapport with them. And I've had some guests that have come on my show 10 times because they trust me and they like my work. So it takes, what's the word I'm looking for? It takes years of hard work to build up a reputation, but it only takes seconds to destroy it.
Isn't that so true though? Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like, I guess, a lot of people's biggest fear, which is why they oftentimes create a facade of a person that they think everyone will like in order for them to succeed. And then at some point in time, it's hard to keep that up. And so at the moment that you're not able to, or at the moment that you maybe reveal your true self, or something happens that takes you away from quote unquote that Disney image, then what happens? Like, and it could be very detrimental to anyone, or even just to your own psyche, right? Because even if no one cared, you might be like, oh my God, everyone's gonna hate me now because I was so mean and so rude. And you can apologize, and like you said, you're gonna have naysayers and haters and people who are just not gonna agree with how you chose to do whatever you did. But you can't really worry about that. I mean, take constructive criticism where it's due. If you feel things need to be reconstructed, but if I'm an imperfect masterpiece, like, why would I want you to fix me? I'm not broken to me. And if I am, I like my brokenness and stop trying to put glue on shit. Like, not like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, some people are comfortable being a little fragmented. Maybe that's my comfy place. Maybe that's how I navigate through life's woes. You cannot really dictate or determine how a person is supposed to live. Just as long as they're not hurting other people while they're doing it. Love. That's it. Who cares?
Goldie, I wanted to ask you this. When you do live stage performances, what is more difficult, to do it in front of a large sold out crowd, or do you find a smaller crowd is harder to do comedy at?
I haven't had a large sold out crowd, but I like the way you spoke that into existence. I don't think it makes a difference because I can't see from far. So about after a certain amount of rows, I can't see them anyway. One, two, because I can't see from far. Like, usually when I get on stage, I may take my glasses off. So that kind of like depends. I think. I mean, I'm sure the first time that it happens, if God, intends for that to happen, I may be a little nervous just because, oh shit, all these people. But that happens even when it's like 50 people or like 100 people, like you, but you kind of just go. Like, I mean, I've been a performer before, you be in dance groups in school, or you do a play, or various different things. And so it depends. Like, when you're in a troupe or you're in a group, you feel a little bit more comfortable because you have your peers next to you. So you kind of have like an energy of everyone doing it together. So, one more person messes up, we kind of all mess up, or maybe not. And maybe they're not all watching me and they're watching them. So in case I mess up, no one saw. But however you get through that, you do. Going on stage by yourself, it's kind of like, for me, I don't know. It's like I said, it's infectious. And so once you kind of like what you do and you just go in there kind of like talk your shit, like I said, I'm learning. I'm fresh. I'm new. And so it's an experience every time. I think every time I do it, I get a little bit better at it. I think people have a remedy to like how to make the best chicken soup. I have kind of made my own recipes, sort of incorporating the basis of what everyone says that you have to do, but just not in the way that everyone else does it at this moment. Or maybe I do and I don't know it, but I don't plan it out that way. Just because, like, to me, that makes it more heavy. It takes away the fun. It takes away the spontaneity. Spontaneity doesn't work for everybody. I talk a lot, so I'm gonna find something to talk about. Depending on how I start, I'm gonna finish strong, but it depends. Like I talk a lot, so for me, that's like kind of what I want to do. Like when you were a kid, I always wanted to work on the telephone because I like to talk. And then there was times in my life I'm like, damn, I wish I could get a job where I could just run my mouth and get paid because all I want to do is talk all the time, but not thinking about this. And then so doing it like you said, getting over the stage fright or just getting on stage and just like talking shit, excuse my French, or talking crap or just trying to make people laugh. I like people who tell me sometimes and they get me. Tell me a joke. I'm like, what?
Julie,
What's a joke? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Who does that? I'm a joke. Like, not like that because I'm definitely not that funny, but I am. Like, so maybe I have to, those are the things that I need to learn. Those are part of artist development for me, so to speak. Or maybe I already know how to do it. I just haven't had someone who I listen to actually tell me it. Because a lot of times if you have it, they won't always tell you. But if someone sees something, hopefully they'll come tell you. Or you. But sometimes you can't wait for that either. Like if the door doesn't open, make it. If you don't see a road, create one. Like sometimes going up the mountain, you might get a little faster, maybe a little bit more of a struggle, but you learn things along the way. Like you said, failures are blessings within themselves because you learn from what you not necessarily didn't do correctly, but just didn't master or just didn't like I guess maneuver the right way. Like almost when you do an obstacle course or when you're running a race. You almost won, but that one thing you didn't do that you knew you could have done after you reevaluate things. But even then, it's just like just do it again. Because like even if you fail 50 times, like you take a driving test, you don't always pass the first time. But you want your license, so what you gonna do? Keep taking it. You don't care how you look. You might not tell all your friends you done failed 15 times if they allow you to take that times. But on the 21st time when you finally get it, you're excited. And you might not tell the first person you see that was your 21st time. You're just gonna be like, oh my God, I got my license. But you're just gonna want to receive. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. So that's kind of like how it is. You want people to be happy for you, but you got to be happy for yourself. Be happy for every response that you get because it's useful, it's beneficial, and hopefully it'll ground you and mold you, like shape you, push you, or humble you if it needs to, because no one's better than anyone. There's fans enough for everyone. There's no competition but yourself. I mean, there's competition everywhere, right? But
exactly. I like exactly like there's a million comedians out there, but there's also a million podcasters out there. I just worry about being the best version of myself and trying to learn and improve, just like I'm sure you do in the comedy industry. And gotta ask you this too: how competitive is the comedy industry? And when you're in front of an audience, how long does it take for you to engage an audience's mood?
um, I guess that depends on the person. So, uh, competitiveness that kind of depends on the person, but the nature of the business, I guess, it's like any business where we're all kind of quote unquote vying for the same spots. Who has the top spot? Like you shouldn't necessarily feel that way, but I guess it's for all intents and purposes, it's important for movie deals or big comedy shows or just notoriety. Um, so you have cliques. I guess that's like in school, you know, like you hang out with the cool kids or the people that maybe you started out with, so to speak. So like people in your age grade, like so you started ninth grade with all your friends, those ninth, 10th, 11th, you're gonna hang out with them. Those new freshmen, you might say hi to their food, but you may not really associate with them because they're new and they don't have as much experience as you, and they're just not as cool as you. And what if one of them is better than you? Like almost in the basketball team when you're in college or high school, and that one freshman comes in and he's like 18,000 feet tall, and he can shoot from anywhere on the court, and you're like, you just played over the last 4 years trying to be the best player ever, and here he coming here making you look bad in your mind because you feel like he has something that you don't have. I try not to think that way, and it bothers me when people do. That's life. I mean, you go through that in every aspect of business. Any job you go to, you're the new cashier and you work too fast. Slow down because you're making us look bad. Or if you, I work for a social service agency. I'm talkative. I help people. That's kind of my nature. Everyone's not so helpful. People don't like to talk. I'm doing too much. They're doing too little. But that's open to interpretation, isn't it? And so at the end of the day, that can also kind of fuel the fire. So it's like a rat race. When you're looking for cheese, like a marathon, everyone wants the prize. What the prize is there's no real set prize. I don't think. I don't know what it is. You know, maybe there is, and I just haven't gotten to that part of comedy yet. But overall, like I guess who gets the next show, who gets booked more, who gets paid, who gets requested. I guess, um, and maybe one day I'll be hungry for that too. But right now, I'm having the time of my life, enjoying what experiences I'm getting out. I don't do as many shows as maybe I should. And that could just be sometimes you don't want to oversaturate. You don't want people to steal your good stuff. Because you don't even know what your good stuff is, but you're developing it. But if someone's further along, you just never know if that happens. That's life. So maybe that's God's gift to them. They might need it more than you at that time. But even still, like I wish it was a little bit more supportive. And people say that, like, so I've been kind of commenting, like, it wasn't that easy for me when I was doing it 30,000 years ago. So why should we help you guys so much? It's like, I wouldn't be that person. But that's me. And maybe I would like to say I would know I don't want to be that person. So you ever say like maybe one day I might be that person after so many experiences of like helping people or what have you. But no, I'm one of those people like so to me, you're famous because you have yourself established and you're in a position that I'm not in, and you have brought in your audience to a multitude of places. And so that's a great thing for what you do and who you are, right? So, oh wow, that's something that not necessarily you could aspire to do, but like you said to me, some of your guests have become podcasters and different things. So maybe that could be an interest. I've heard it before. People said I would maybe be good at it. It's just not saying that I'm not interested. I've been offered it before. It just didn't come to pass. But overall, I haven't like pursued it to some degree. Like that's just what I wasn't doing at the moment. So you just never know. So I think it kind of just depends. Like you gotta go with the flow and see what happens.
Absolutely. Hey, Goldie, if you got a few more minutes, I have a couple more questions for you. And I wanted to ask you this: do you have any rituals or superstitions before a live show? And what have been some of your favorite clubs to perform in New York City so far?
Okay, so I don't do a lot of clubs. I probably should do more. When I initially first started, I was doing a lot of the clubs in Harlem. So there's a place called Comedy in Harlem. The location has changed, but that's a really good comedy club in New York City, black owned, and you get a feel for the business. There's a lot of famous people definitely do come in and out of there. So if that is what I guess toots your horn or motivates you, like, oh my God, I saw this person, I saw that person, I want to be like them. That can definitely work for you. Like, I want to be like them, but I want to be like myself. So I'm excited to see them, but they're just people. And sometimes they're not nice people, right? So I won't be too happy to see you. And you're like, I'm like, oh my God, it's you. And you're like, excuse me, can you get the door? I was like, I've gotten hit with a door by a couple of famous people. Like, when I'm famous, I'm going to tell that story. I wouldn't, but you kind of want to be the better person and be the better character in that movie. Um, so Comedy in Harlem, Harlem Nights is a really good club. Um, I know of good clubs that I've never been to. Grizzly Pear, like like Stand Up New York, Broadway Comedy Club. I've done a few shows there. I had a friend who hosted a few shows there, so I performed there as well. Like I said, a lot of times New York has 1,001 clubs, and that's probably way less than the actual number of nightlife locations here, Monday through Sunday. So you can pretty much perform anywhere. You can perform in the morning, in the afternoon, and late at night. Sometimes shows start 12 o'clock at night. I haven't really gone to one of those. Maybe I may, but that's kind of late for me. But some people do that depending on their work schedules or depending on just how frequent you want to go to locations or if you're known at a location, so you might get a good response. So that kind of does build your confidence when you go places that people know you and they recognize you. For me, I do, like you said, online. I do some videos. Like in the very beginning, I was just probably being crazy, And so that was like, I'm a comedian, talking shit. That was more like also therapy because I was like angry at a lot of stuff. So you're just going online and I don't know. At the time, I thought going live was good. I probably need to go clean some of that stuff up, or maybe not. Maybe there's some good gems in there. Who knows? But it was just kind of like me expressing myself. I like a lot of music. I like hip hop music. I normally come out to some hip hop usually. Like I'm from the Bronx, so I'm always like throw your exes up, which is kind of I guess a term that was made famous from a hip hop song by Fat Joe here in New York City in the Bronx. So anybody from the Bronx, like I say this sometimes in some of my sets, they throw your exes up, especially when I'm in other boroughs or other places and they're like looking at me. Like if you're from New York or you know the song, you might know what it means. Most people don't. And then you kind of explain to them like where it comes from. But then I also um, refer to the Bronx as Wakanda, right? Because it's the melting pot, but also more importantly, because I made this connection the movie Wakanda Forever, everyone loved it. And so for African American people, that was like, for me, I don't know how all the rest of them felt, but for me, being a black person in America and seeing like a movie that almost had like everyone black and like we were superheroes and we were all powerful and shit. And look at America, because we ain't gonna go there, but we know. And so you try not to get stuck in that, but it was an amazing moment. But so like for months and maybe even years, even probably still now, they don't do it as much. You need new Wakanda guys. But anyway, we were like you could be anywhere, you didn't have to know the people, just throwing up X's. We was like symbolic for us. So then as I'm doing comedy, I think one time I came to like, oh shit. And no, it was also the second one that came out. They kind of tied in South America or Africa, through the water. It was like kind of not far fetched, but a little, but understood. And at the end of the day, I was like, wow, that's kind of like where we are now, but we don't know it. It's a very magical place filled with so many people from so many places that don't realize how connected we are and how many shared experiences that we have. And so we're so separate when we should. And so I think that movie kind of like did that because, they thought they were different and they were fighting. And then at some point in time, they kind of came together because you realize, oh shit, we're the same. So you're kind of waiting for the oh shit, we're the same moment. It's not going to happen until the aliens or the zombies infiltrate. It's only whenever there's like a horrific disaster in the world. Unfortunately, God bless anyone who's ever been hit or something like that. Where people kind of like, oh, we're the same. No, we're always the same. There's like pay attention. But we're not gonna talk about it. We'll talk about that off camera.
Okay, deal. Hey, Goldie, can you just tell us about your upcoming show this Wednesday night at Popped in New York, and how did that come about?
Okay, so Pop New York City is I have something that she wrote, so I want to get it correct. I know what it is, but I can't have had it's like a CBD, THC kind of. I'm gonna give you what she said because I want to get it correct. Because I met Lauren again, which is the owner. I met her at an event that I went to where I just happened to approach her, like, "Hey, my name is Goldie, and I'm a comedian, and you should follow me on Instagram." Because it was kind of like one of those mixers, like a networking event where people were just going around talking to people. And she was kind of like sitting alone. So I don't know what drew me to her, but it kind of just like, hey, you should talk to her. And I did. And so she was like, oh, you should come to my shop the next day. And we made that arrangement. And then we spoke a bit. And I kind of like explained to her who I was. And then from there, it kind of went on. So like basically, I let them know like I wanted to do comedy shows there. They kind of were interested in doing that as well, and then also advertising the products that she sells in the store, and then also the location because it's like I can't even really describe. It's almost like the best living room you'd ever be in because it definitely is a store in the front, but in the back it's like this hidden gem. You're like, oh, how cute is this? And like you want to sit and you want to just like enjoy the vibe, and then I can't like you have to like kind of experience it. Like it depends on who you are as a person, but for me, I love the aesthetic of the space. I love what she's trying to offer. CBD is definitely very helpful for people. I'm trying to look. I have like so many texts from her. I'm gonna go to the website, and then that'll be better. CBD has a lot of medicinal purposes and properties for people, especially who experience a lot of pain. So I have family members who kind of like arthritis, or osteoporosis, like different things with their body. As you get older, your knees start aching and stuff like that. And so holistic medicine, somewhat to me, I think is way better than Western medicine, so to speak, because it's not as, um, I guess, addictive, and it doesn't have as many side effects. I mean, depending on what you take, it can, but when it's all natural, like it's mostly like plant based and things like that, so you're less likely to actually have such an adverse effect on your body or on another organ or something like that. So I think to me that's important, and then I think people just need to have places where they can kind of go and retreat and just like hang out, or if you want to rent a space. So it's kind of like an event space as well. They will let me find it on Google. But yeah, it's an event space as well. So basically, we are hosting a Women's Working Wednesday. So it was Women's Month when I initially said, "Hey, let me do a show, and I can do it in a week." You know, women are great, women's power, and I pulled shit off because. Boy, I was like, oh man, I might have bit off more than I could chew. So now I'm like on Instagram hitting up every woman who I hope if some of them are watching Wednesday, but hitting up all the female comics and poets and different people that I know, like, hey, do you want to come and perform at this spot? Basically, informing them the truth. I'm transparent. It's my first show, and I told them I could do it this time, so let's let them know. Like for Women's Month, it was like the tail end of the month, and you kind of just want to like kill the month off or like end the month with the bang for women, and it's almost like Women's Month never ends as you can see. So now we're in the month of April, and that show is really went really well. And she liked the response that she got from the people that visited the store and just in general. So we decided to do another one for the month of April, and then going forward, we're going to probably continue to do shows at least like once a month, if not more, depending on her interest. But yeah, just pretty much introducing folks to the space again, because of the location. It's really nice. It's a really like a honeycomb hideout. Like, so that's like an old school term, but sometimes you want to find you like just a really like a little enclave that you can go into that no one would ever think is there. And it's like really a hidden gem. She has a wonderful, beautiful backyard that's fixed up, and I'm sure there's gonna be like so many other events and parties. And it's just like you can rent it out if you want to have a little small intimate party or like different things. So for me, hosting a show there, like you almost like want to find like a really cool space that you can continue to do shows in that can help you to thrive as a host, as a comedian, and then just providing people like with a cool spot to come and perform in. But that's really important for comics too, energy, and anyone that likes to perform loves good energy. Like if you go into a place and it feels like too rough or rugged around the edges, you don't really give your best because you're kind of like not comfortable in the space that you're in. And doesn't always have to be you. It could just be like, the room. And how that happens, who knows, right? But so it's kind of one of those places like all the walls are blue. It kind of reminds me of the ocean. So it kind of just makes you feel like you're not floating, but like you're just so calm and relaxed. And it's one of those places like very, very welcoming. So for me, the show was great. I'm looking forward to the next show and the next show and the next show. This one again is Women's Wednesday because it's just wanting to give women a place to kind of feel strong and powerful, and then also honing on their craft.
How much are the tickets? How much are the tickets, and how can they come by on Wednesday night from what 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.?
Yes, Wednesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. The location is 219 Madison Street in New York City, Lower East Side. This show actually is free. We for now. That's only because we just wanted to. It was my idea to kind of like introduce the idea of what we're offering to the community and to her patrons. And before you start like charging people, you kind of want them to know what good stuff is coming to them. So just like letting people know that comedy is coming. We're gonna have different types of artists, excuse me, performing in the building, as well as people who may be interested in performing are also welcome to contact myself or the location with an interest to perform or like renting the space. So it's kind of just like letting people know of the products that are available, informing them of the space, providing them with a really good quality show, letting us as women uh, practice makes perfect or perfection, to the perfectionist always has to be done every day. So either way you put it, you just want a place to feel comfortable amongst your peers. And it's not only for women to view, it's just women to perform. So we want a women's lineup, but the audience is open to everyone. It's free for now with also CBD and THC samples and things for sale as well. Basically, come check it out. I do also free community shows in my neighborhood. I live in the South Bronx, so it's called My Haven. It's up and coming. And so we have a lot of lovely buildings in the area. There's a community garden that I just found last October. And I've been working quite diligently to make sure that our community has access to life. So I feel that if you give life to the garden gives you back life. Plus, there's like little fish in the pond, and it's so pretty, and you don't have to go too far for a park. And for our seniors who live in the community, just to sit amongst the birds and the trees and just to watch nature, it kind of takes you away from your four walls in your apartment. So I do open mics there as well, and I'm also going to be hosting open mics for kids because I'm trying to find the next Jackson 5 out here. No, but I just love kids when they perform, and it also helps them to get over stage fright quite early. And so you just never know like what kind of I guess self-esteem and courage that you can kind of provide to a child by just making them feel good when they perform on stage. I used to work with kids as an assistant site director before, so I kind of did that. I got more joy out of it like than the parents. I'm in the audience crying at the show, like, look at my baby. It's their baby, but you feel so proud of what you can do. So just to allow the parents to be able to see their kids, it's almost like when your kid sees you, like, oh my God, my mom can sing, or my mom can rap or dance or write a poem or anything that you can do that your kids or your family never thought you could do. Some people are really in awe. So I like the shopping.
What is a fun fact about yourself, Goldie? And do you have a question for the host CDP before we wrap this up?
Fun fact about me is I'm probably older than I look, and as you can tell, I talk a lot and I'm all over the place, but I follow me, so I hope you can too. And fun fact for you, do you see yourself maybe trying comedy because you are funny and you are witty? And since you've like interviewed so many different people, you kind of have a plethora of knowledge that you could actually put into a skit, like depending on your co-host and the people that you have in your show. So do you see yourself maybe trying to do a little comedy in your shows going forward?
I never thought about that. I never really thought about comedy. I kind of like radio and talking and interviewing people, but that's a good question. I've never really thought about that. I just never thought I was really funny.
What do your friends think?
Um,
You
I
see?
guess I'm funny. It's funny, but they say it's one thing to be funny in front of people, but it's also another thing to be funny in front of people on a stage. So I would like to try it. I would
You're
like to
on
try
the
it.
stage right now. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like almost when they give you that tip in school, imagine everyone naked. I don't imagine everyone naked because some people might not want to see some people naked. That's a joke. Nobody shaming here. What if they're too skinny? Haha. You know, like I might like them big. But either way, how you put it. And no, I think that every stage is a stage. Like everywhere you go. Like sometimes you don't want to speak up in the store when you're a kid. Like the first time you got to go buy something when mom gives you the money. But you got to kind of go in there and do it. And then you have some kids that go there like, I need 10 chips, 5 pieces of gum, 50. You know, they kind of know what they want. So it really is depending upon who you want to be in that moment. But no, I think just go and do it. Like my main thing is like Nike, just do it. Because you don't know how well or not well you'll do until you do it. And sometimes people say, oh, it's you don't know how funny you are until you're in front of a group. Maybe you wouldn't have the courage to even do what you're doing right now. And again, you are on stage.
Okay, good point. Good point. Maybe. Hey, and I've had by the way, about a month ago, I had a husband-wife comedy duo from Detroit,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, so and the husband and wife, they've been married 10 years, and you know how they got married? They got married through comedy as well, and they do a really great job. And that's what I love about this show is connecting with my guests, the
Yeah.
storytelling aspect and the learning aspect of it as well. And I always try to put the focus on my guests as well, but I've never thought about trying comedy, but I guess I could try it. But my main passion is I love to talk and I like to entertain
It's,
storytelling. And
it's
that's what comedy is too. It's making people laugh, but it's also storytelling.
engaging conversation, basically. So
Yes.
if you could tell a good story or if you could talk about yourself in a way that keeps people following you, I think it could work. And it's fun. It's kind of what you do anyways. And you talk about your life experiences. Again, we kind of like when you read a good book and you like it because either you identify with the characters or there's something in it, like even if it's just the way it's written, like the movies that we go see, but you feel strongly connected to it. I think the same way when you see comedians, when you have podcasters that you watch all the time because you feel connected to them, you like
Yeah,
the way they present things, you like the way they attack things, or you just like the way they view life, you
yeah,
know. And sometimes you find a friend in the oddest of places, even if it's not someone you actually know, you still feel connected to them because
yeah.
they make you feel like that, you know?
I've only known you for what, a couple weeks, but I feel like I feel
We're
like
buddies, I know, right?
I feel like we're friends, but we're also I feel we have a good rapport, and that's what I want to do with my guests. I
Yeah,
want them to be able to feel comfortable on here, and people will open up to you more if you, instead of somebody that doesn't like to talk. If somebody doesn't like to talk or they don't feel comfortable on this platform, then I'm not going to bring them on here. I want
yeah.
to bring people on here that want to talk and want to share their stories.
I mean, true. I like to talk. So I mean, depending on like coming back, let's say talking about tons of different topics, like it'll be fun, and then it's kind of like just giving your shared opinion on things, and that's
Yeah,
how you also bring out the comedy because you know we're all funny, and how we see things is always different. You know, everybody looks at one picture and can see five different things, and when you sit down and talk about it, or even your interpretation of a book when you're in class, when you're in school, everyone thought something different when you read the passage but doesn't mean it was wrong. That's just the way you saw the story. So that those things are important. So I like to be able to kind of give people that perspective when I do my comedy. Like you may not see life the way I see it, but maybe I can help you see it that way. And it's kind of
but
the same way when people like when you go to therapy, your therapist will give you coping mechanisms. I hope to be a coping mechanism for you. Get some of me, I'm a drug. No. But seriously, like you just want people to live a little bit. Definitely take life serious because life is serious, but sometimes don't take life serious because life is serious. You
and
know?
maybe one day you can do a podcast show with me, the Goldie and Chris show.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. Wakanda forever. See, that's what I'm saying. We got to bridge this gap. I'm coming to Canada when it doesn't snow. When's your non-snowy season? Plus, do you know Drake? Right? Isn't that so funny? Because you say you're from Toronto. That I'm sure people have asked you this behind stage.
I've seen Drake. Yeah, I've seen Drake.
I love him. And J. Cole, like that, you know, like when you're from New York, they actually do you know all types of do you know Fat Joe? I don't, but he has a store in my neighborhood and I've seen him in there before. I'm just quite excited. So it's the same. Like whenever you're from
Yeah,
a major place, they hope that you know the stars so you can
yeah,
connect. So
yeah.
you get to know
Tr-
Drake, let me know who's your favorite New York City star. I'll hunt them down for you and we'll
okay.
make a connection.
And by the way, Toronto is like New York. Our Toronto is basically our version of New York.
Oh,
It doesn't have 17 million people, but it has about 8 million people. And Toronto is very diverse. So I think if you ever came to Toronto, you would find it similar to New York with traffic, diversity, and large
uh,
crowds.
diversity is good, but we hate the
And
traffic.
it's very expensive. Toronto is very expensive, like New York is.
I know, right? Overpriced. But we love
Absolutely.
it. You can't live without it. Where will you
Ab-
find a store 24 hours to get you a sandwich? New York City.
That's true. I've been there twice, and didn't get much sleep in my two visits there.
You can't sleep. This is the city that never sleeps. There's too much
It's true. It's true.
noise there. Beep, beep, beep. Like it's so funny because here we're used to it, so we fall straight asleep. And then when we visit places where there's no noise, you're like, what's going on? Where are the people? Where are the cars? How come I don't hear anything but bugs? And it kind of like creeps us out because like
Yeah.
we need noise. That's kind of the difference when you kind of travel outside your
Yeah.
norm.
Hey, Goldie, finally, where can my audience follow you on social media? Do you have any plans for a website? And do you have any other upcoming shows going into the month of May?
I do. Okay, so on Facebook and Instagram, you can look up Got You, Gotu. Both pages are Got You Speaking in Tongues, but they're spelled a little bit different because, again, one page was really old, and then when I created a new page, I didn't spell it the same. My bad. So I have two pages. Pretty much same content, but you can find me on Facebook or Instagram under Got You, Gotu, as Tamika or Goldie. Um, I was supposed to be maybe scheduled to go down to Atlanta to do a show sometime next month, but that's kind of tentative because they're waiting on the venue a little bit. So I'm not quite sure of that, which is cool because some friends are going to be hosting an open mic down in that area and bringing some area artists from New York down there to kind of showcase their talents. So I'm looking forward to that. Outside of my own shows, I'm going to be hosting a monthly show at the local gardens, community garden here in the Bronx, 134 and Lincoln Avenue, and that's free to the community. Every Tuesday, I usually do an open mic. I actually may go there when I'm done with you, which is not too far from my neighborhood. Hosted by creatives and civilians. They do a wonderful open mic every Tuesday. So I tend to go there. That's kind of like getting myself familiar in my neighborhood or in the Bronx for the people that frequent the location to just kind of know who Goldie. They never really say the whole name, but it's Goldie got you speaking in tongues, like who I am as a comedian, just to kind of like so when people see you, hey, it's Goldie. This feels like Norm when you go to Cheers, so I love that feeling. I always want to be Norm. I'm Norm now. So one of those moments, and just kind of like downtown in the city, like I haven't really picked anywhere. Like open mics here are very plentiful, so I'm not scheduled to be on anyone's particular show, but you can kind of sign up on a whim. Like you can look it up on different websites on Facebook or just by Googling, hey, New York City open mic, and you'll tons of them will come up. You sometimes pay to perform, sometimes you don't, and you can just kind of go down. So that's kind of pretty much what I've been doing most recently, outside of like putting together the local shows. Just getting more practice in. Hoping to be discovered like a model.
Well, Goldie, hey, I want to say thank you for giving us over an hour of your time. I really enjoyed having you on. Time flies when you're having fun and a good conversation.
Thank
And
you
I
so
want to,
much for having
you're
me.
really welcome. And I want to wish you continued success in your comedy career.
Thank
And I definitely would like to have you back again on as a guest again in the
you.
future.
I look forward to that. Thank you again. And thank you to everyone tuning in. Chris is great. And I'll be honest, he made me feel like, oh my God, he noticed me. I'm like, how did you find me? So I'm glad that he found me. And I hope that you guys find me too. And I find you back. Follow me, follow Chris, and keep up the good work, Chris. Thank you so much. And thank you for
Thank you.
providing a platform to people like myself who
Yes.
need the exposure, but also it makes us feel good. Like, oh my God, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And maybe, I don't know if you are able to, Goldie, but if you could maybe do a 10-second video shout out for my show, that would be greatly appreciated too.
Oh, sure. I can do that.
So
So you want me to do like separately? Like,
just a shout out saying that you enjoyed being on live with
do
CDP
that. I
Sports
was
Entertainment Talk Show.
outside on the streets of New York City and the Bronx. And I'm going to give Chris the ultimate shout out because this was like really awesome. And I hope people all hit up Chris and try to get on this show because, Chris is the
Hey,
plug. I'm from New York.
it's
That's like a code word. Chris is the plug. That means that you're the connection. So being the plug is very important. I appreciate you.
Hey, it's the guests that make the show. I'm just a host. I just make the emphasis. It's about the guests and the guests, and I've been very lucky. And I love doing this, and I love connecting with people. And really, it doesn't matter where you are. This technology, if you use it the right way, it's a good tool.
That is kind of cool though. Like you said, you being in Canada, me being in New York City, but then even saying that you have like artists from Australia, different places.
Yeah.
Like no one's really. I don't really watch a lot of podcasts, but I think that part is cool. Just kind of connecting like an international a show that you're
Yeah,
connecting
it
to.
is. I have another comedian on Friday from Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Nice.
Charity Jones, who's watching this now, and I
Hey,
have another.
Michelle.
Charity Jones is her name, and I have Addison Liberty from Washington D.C. who's been on my show. She's a comedian out of Washington D.C. So
So,
I love doing this, and
together and like plan a show for all of us, like all the comedians that you had, the Chris Palme comedy special. I think you could do it. And then maybe on the internet too. That would be cool.
okay. All right, well, I'm going to let you go, Goldie, but I want to say thank you so much for coming on here tonight and give me a little bit of time, and I will send you the video, the audio, and break
Awesome.
this into reels and clips, and if you'd like to use for your social media pages as well. And I have to look for you on TikTok.
Yeah, I got. You know what? You know you created like years ago before it got shut down. I never really used it. Like TikTok is really informative, but now I know that's the way to go. So thank you very much for making those clips, and thank you to everyone again for tuning in, and thank you, Chris, for the opportunity. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you so much, Goldie, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. All right, guys, that concludes season 10, episode 31, overall 526 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. Before we wrap up the show, guys, I'm going to play a little clip of Goldie's comedy show that she sent me. This is courtesy of Goldie's Gotusspeakintongues Instagram page. Please follow her on Instagram, and she's also on TikTok. And this is just a little snippet of one of her comedy shows.
Directions. And driving, cooking, how to wash dishes, but we know the most important directions. So right there, don't move. You never listen. Why when it's getting good, you move? It's like the good part of the movie, you want to start talking. You saw that part? Shut up, you're about to die. I'm about to come, shut up, you about to die. Don't stop when I'm about to rock, okay? Hello. Shout out for yourselves because it's freezing. Yeah. This is not our weather. If you like this weather, you're a special kind of person. I have a lot of clothes on. Actually, everything's hot. Directions.
And that clip was courtesy of Goldie's Gotusspeakintongues Instagram page. She's also on TikTok as well. So please follow her as well. Before we wrap up this show, guys, I got another announcement. The next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by BarryCullen.com, is going to be on Tuesday, April 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, his first appearance, Tom Swales. He is a highly respected physical therapist and strength conditioning coach with over 20 years of experience in human movement. So please check out Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show tomorrow, Tuesday, April 22nd at 2 p.m. with Tom Swales. And before we wrap up this show, guys, as always, it is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership here in Guelph. Right now at Barry Cullen Chevrolet, try out a 2025 Trax 1RS lease from $159 bi-weekly. That's like $79 weekly at 5.9% interest for 24 months. And eligible Costco members can receive up to $1,200 on bonus, a $1,200 bonus on eligible models. More details at BarryCullen.com or drop by the dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. Tell them Chris Palme sent you as well. Guys, if you'd like a personalized video from yours truly, CDP, check out cameo.com/Chris Palme and book your cameo today. You can also now follow me on Blue Sky Social at Live with CDP19. That's at Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky Social, which is like what Twitter X used to be. So please check me out there as well. Again, you can follow Goldie on her Instagram page, Gotusspeakintongues on Instagram, and she's also on Threads as well at Gotusspeakintongues as well on Threads. So Instagram, Threads, and you can follow her on TikTok as well. If you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge and District Humane Society, 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0, or visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. Right now, they're looking for dog food, cat food, wet puppy food. They're looking for towels, bedding, cat litters, and also once a week, the Cambridge Humane Society on Wednesdays does a pet emergency fund for those people in the Cambridge area who are struggling financially. So if you're able to donate some dog food, cat food, pet food, or make a cash donation, please pop by the Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Whatever donation you can get, they would greatly appreciate it. And you can also check out their Amazon wish list. Go on to Amazon, type in Cambridge Humane Society. They have a wish list on Amazon.ca as well. And if you are looking to volunteer at the Cambridge Humane Society, like yours truly does twice a week, go on to cambridgehumanesociety.org website, click on the volunteer form, and fill out the application and get it started. I absolutely love it. They do wonderful work with getting the furry animals and friends adopted into good homes with good families as well. And they're also doing a quarterly 50-50 draw. The winner gets 50%. The Humane Society gets 50% for their programs. Go on the website and click on events, and you can get your tickets there as well. So if you're in the Cambridge District Humane Society and you're looking to adopt, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society. Or if you're just looking to help out with a pet food donation, cash donation, donate towels, blankets, whatever, cat litter, they would greatly appreciate it as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show again is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And fingers crossed one day, StreamYard will partner up with TikTok so we can get this broadcast on TikTok as well. You guys can check out my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. You can also follow this content creator on TikTok at Chris Pame, my new page, and I'm able to go live there again. So please check out my TikTok page for my tons of content, but also my live videos on TikTok. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. And please remember to hit subscribe. Finally, you guys can email Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpame19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you'd like to tip the host because you like this talk show and you like my media work and you'd like to support it, I am on PayPal. You can contact me on PayPal or tip me there at cpame19@gmail.com. Any tips would be greatly appreciated as well. And finally, you guys can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, everywhere, Blue Sky, and also check out my YouTube channel, Chris Pame Live with CDP Sports Talk. Hit the subscribe and like notifications as well. And before we wrap up this show, guys, we've got NBA playoffs tonight, Game 2. Pistons and Knicks, 7:30 at Madison Square Gardens. Knicks lead that series 1-0. They won Game 1, 123-112 over Detroit. It was a great game until the fourth quarter where the Knicks outscored the Pistons 40-21. Isaiah Stewart will be out for the Pistons tonight. Then Pistons are trying to rebound, even up the series at 1-1, going back to Little Caesars Arena for Games 3 and 4. So Pistons and Knicks going on right now. And also, the San Diego Padres and Detroit Tigers in a rematch of the 1984 World Series are taking a 3-game series on the Padres and Tigers 3-game series at Comerica Park, 6:40 first pitch there as well. And we have NHL playoffs going on tonight. Montreal and Washington, Game 1. We've got St. Louis and Winnipeg in Game 2. Colorado and Dallas in Game 2. Dallas is trailing 1-0 in that series. And then we have Edmonton and LA tonight as well. And the NFL draft is going to be this Thursday to Saturday in Green Bay, April 24th, 26th. I was at the NFL draft last year in Detroit, and it's quite an experience. I was there in Detroit as a media member, and it was a great experience. And I'm sure Green Bay and the state of Wisconsin will do a great job there. So the NFL draft this Thursday to Saturday from the 24th to the 26th. The Eagles have a ton of draft picks. I think they have 8 draft picks in this draft. And some news. The Philadelphia Eagles just re-signed their center and 2022 draft pick, Cam Jordans, to a 4-year contract extension. So Cam Jordans is now under contract with the Philadelphia Eagles until 2029. Most of their offensive line, Jordan Matalata, Lane Johnson, are all under contract. So the Eagles offensively look like they're going to be good for many years to come. And Cam Jordans has done a great job taking over from Jason Kelsey, who is probably the greatest center in Eagles history. So that's about it for the news. So tonight, good luck to the Pistons and the Tigers. And I want to say thank you again to my guest, Goldie, Gotusspeakintongues. Please follow her on Instagram and on Threads. And again, thank you to everyone watching this live streamed and on my audio platforms, and to Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Gulf Auto Mall. I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, Tuesday, April 22nd at 2 p.m. with my special guest, Tom Swells, who is a physical therapist, and he's also a strength conditioning coach with over 20 years of experience out of the Toronto area. Hope you have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock for another edition of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show.